Every single day when I'm traveling again, I thank Idi Amin. Why? Because this man kicked me out of my country, this man kicked me out of my culture, this man kicked me out of all the things that I knew for 18 years of my life. But in the process, he freed me. He liberated me. He made me realize I don't need to belong to one country. I don't need to belong to one culture. I don't need to adhere to the values and customs and traditions of one particular society in order to live there. I can float from culture to culture, from country to country, pick up values as I go along, and make them my own.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On Record, or On Record, number 4 in a series, an initiative that we've taken to once a week or regularly to have a guest writer, thinker, personality to come to whom we can meet and say hello. So, hello, Mo Tijani.
Great to be here.
And we saw in your bio that you've been doing quite a lot of writing over the last years. Your first book, A Chameleon's Tale, was talking about your origins, the country where you came from. Rather than me say anything, can you just tell me briefly about your history, where you were born and what happened to you?
We've got 3 hours? Okay, I'll try and do it in 3 minutes. Born in Tanzania, grew up in Uganda for 18 years. 1972, got kicked out by Idi Amin along with 80,000 other Asians. Left for different parts of the world. Ended up in England for a couple of years. Ended up in the States, in the US for 10 years. Didn't plan on being there for 10 years, but ended up being 10 years because I ended up undergraduate school, graduate school, what have you. A lot of traveling, exploring the US, wonderful. Then I finally got sick of the US and I ended up heading south. Learned some Spanish and headed down to Central and South America and did a 2-year trip from San Diego to Argentina. That took 2 years, the 2 best years of my life. I was void of time and space, and it didn't matter what place I was in or what the date was. And after South America, I ended up thinking to myself, well, you know some of Africa, you know quite a bit of North America. Most of my family ended up in Canada after the Idi Amin expulsion. So I had family in Canada, I'd seen a lot of Canada and the US, and I traveled a lot in South America. But I didn't know Asia, where my father is from, where my ancestry is from. So eventually I talked my way into a diplomatic American passport and joined the Peace Corps and ended up in Thailand in 1979 and have probably spent the better part of almost 2 decades in Southeast Asia. So this is why we're calling this session A Global Nomad Living a Global Paradigm. I will try, over the course of this interview, to try and explain to you and the audience over here what it means to be a global nomad, in my case out of necessity rather than choice, and how you apply that on a day-to-day basis as a living paradigm in your life, in all the different facets that make up one's own interests and values and what have you.